Yo guys, what is good? It's your boy John here back again with another video, and today we're going over 4 of ASICS' most popular sneakers and we're gonna decide which one is the best in 2026. Alright, as always, before I begin today's video, if you guys have not seen my most recent video where I go over my new favorite pair of pants, the Abercrombie workwear pants, make sure to go check it out afterwards. These are, again, my new favorite pair of pants that I wear on the daily. I'm literally wearing right now. I copped 4 for myself. And if you guys are interested in picking up a pair for yourself, make sure to visit the YouTube shopping tab attached to that video. Basically, what it is that it's an affiliate link that takes you directly to Abercrombie's storefront. And if you guys use that link when you check out on your next purchase, it's going to help me out. It's going to help my channel out and support everything that I'm doing. So if you guys are interested in buying a pair of workwear pants, I'd very much appreciate it if you guys can use that link before checking out. But in today's video, we are going over 4 of ASICS' most popular sneakers. So we're actually going over the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14s, the ASICS Gel-1130s, we're going over the ASICS GT-2160s, and then last but not least, we have the ASICS Gel-NYCs. So I've talked about ASICS sneakers a lot on my channel. They're so comfortable. I love ASICS as a brand. I am one that typically wears a lot of Nike, but in the year 2024 to 25, I found myself gravitating towards ASICS shoes a lot more just because they're so comfortable. The technology and the aesthetic of them just kind of goes with today's times, especially in the time when Y2K sneakers and dad shoe vibes are trending. I feel like they go great with different outfits that I put together. Now, last year, I actually made a video where I compare the Gel-Kayano 14s to the 1130s to the 2160s, and I told you guys which one I think was the best. But now that I have the Gel-NYCs, a lot of you guys were also recommending that I do an updated video where I talk about these 4, the characteristics of each sneaker, and I go over which one is the best in 2026. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. So before I begin today's video, if you guys are interested in my opinion and you're looking forward to what I'm gonna say here, make sure to go smash the subscribe button and join the turntable gang. If you guys are interested in checking out the individual reviews that I have of each sneaker, I'll also make sure to link them in the description down below. But yep, today we're gonna go over the big 4 of ASICS lifestyle sneakers and we're gonna talk about which one is the best. Let's hop into it. So yeah, as I'm going over each sneaker individually, I'm also gonna be talking about their characteristics, such as when they release, their pricing, sizing, colors, availability, technology that they use. So we're gonna talk about an in-depth review of each sneaker. And again, if you guys are interested in checking out my previous video where I went over the first 3, make sure to go check it out afterwards. I think that's one of my most popular videos. So I would very much appreciate if you guys could check that out as well. But the first of the ASICS line that we're gonna be going over today has to be the original one, the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14s. Now, I believe this was the sneaker that basically brought ASICS back in modern trends. Now, ASICS used to be an unpopular sneaker brand. They used to be exclusively for running and performance, but I don't know what happened in the 2020s. They basically came back after collaborating with a bunch of different high-end brands, and the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14s definitely made its comeback in the game. Now, the Gel-Kayano 14s first released in 2008, but they made a comeback in 2020 all of a sudden. But after a lot of high-end brands such as Jown and Kith started collaborating with the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14s, they basically came back in an instant. ASICS Gel-Kayano 14s are basically one of the front runners when it comes to the Y2K aesthetic. And this is one of the first sneakers that come to mind, honestly, when I think of the dad shoe vibe. And even though they have this dad shoe-like silhouette, they're also still great for those who are slim-footed. I feel like they don't look too chunky. And if you're gonna wear some slim-fitted pants, these are gonna look great with them as well. So I think they benefit anyone who's wearing them. It doesn't really matter on the kind of clothes that you're wearing. Obviously, if you're gonna go for the looser and baggier fits, they're still gonna look great with them. But I've also worn like cropped pants, skinny jeans with these, and they also look good as well. But we also got to talk about the comfort of the Gel-Kayano 14. So they are made with gel technology, and you guys can see in the midsole that gel tech is so soft and squishy. It's very responsive, and overall the shoe is very supportive. I like that a lot. If you are someone with a lot of foot problems, the Gel-Kayano 14s is probably going to be a great sneaker for caring for your feet. Not to mention, they also come in a ton of colorways, so there's a lot of collaborations out there. But if you guys want to just go for general releases, you can pretty much find them on different sites nowadays. You know, I would say 2 to 3 years ago, the ASICS Kayano 14s were pretty rare to find. They were just pretty hype at the time, and a lot of people wanted them. They were flying off of shelves, but I think that kind of has died down over time. They're still a great sneaker, But you know, a lot of people have gotten their pair, so they don't really need to rush out the door to find one. And I would say since then, it's pretty accessible. In terms of pricings, these retail for a price between 150 to 160 bucks. So definitely on the steeper end, but I would say for the price, it's still very much worth it for the comfort that you're getting. So I would say when it comes to ASICS Gel lifestyle sneakers, they're very different from New Balance sneakers or On Cloud shoes. They don't sink into the ground as you're walking to them. They're not made with foam that is like super responsive, super squishy. However, they're pretty supportive, they're very breathable, very comfortable, and best of all, they're wide foot friendly. And going back to colorways, I think one of the best things is that they come in a variety of different colorways. So you can definitely find a pair that suits you the most. So yep, the first sneaker that we're talking about are the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14s. Let's move on to their little brothers. All right, moving on to the next ASICS Gel lifestyle sneaker, we got the ASICS Gel-1130s. I believe this is probably one of the most popular sneakers that people buy on the market nowadays. I think if you go on Foot Locker, if you go on Finish Line, even StockX, the ASICS Gel-1130s are probably always going to be one of the best sellers. They are so comfortable, I can't even explain how comfortable they actually are unless you try them on for yourself. Now, even though they're made with gel technology, they're pretty different from the Gel-Kayano 14s. Compared to the Gel-Kayano 14s, these have a lot less gel technology. They're not as squishy. However, that doesn't mean that they're any less comfortable. The sneaker itself is very light, so wearing them on your feet does not feel heavy at all. The cushioning on this is also very plush, so they feel really good when you're wearing them. And best of all, they're wide foot friendly as well. Honestly, when it comes to wide foot friendliness, I would say the ASICS Gel-1130s takes it over the Gel-Kayano 14s. And the best part about the Gel-1130s is that they are retailing for between anywhere of $100 to $120, depending on the material. They're so affordable, just getting a very comfortable pair of sneakers for $100 is very rare nowadays, especially after inflation and the sneaker market is doing so poorly with retail prices being so high. But when it comes to the Gel-1130s, you don't really have to break the bank to have a comfortable pair of sneakers. I know of middle schoolers and high schoolers just having a pair, you know, they don't really have to spend too much on a really nice pair of sneakers, and I think that's the best thing. Now, the Gel-1130s also released in 2008, but they made their comeback in 2020 around the same time as the Gel-Kayano 14s, and they're here to stay, honestly. Like with the Gel-Kayano 14s, I would say that they're not entirely so hype anymore because they're still sitting on shelves. At one point, it used to be really hard to find a pair for retail, but I think that everyone has had their share of owning a pair, so the hype has kind of calmed down. Again, you could pretty much go into any store and find a pair of Gel-1130s for yourself. I think that's what's so great about it. And even better, they come in a multitude of colorways as well. Again, the Gel-1130s is a pretty simple sneaker. They do have gel technology on the midsoles right here, but it's pretty firm and there's not a ton of it. So again, I have to reiterate that for a sneaker that costs about $100, is one of the greatest sneakers out there. Such a comfortable shoe. We do have the Gel-1130s. And moving on to the next ASICS Gel lifestyle sneaker, we do have the ASICS GT-2160s. I would say that out of the four, this is probably the least popular. Now, I'm not saying that it's not the best. I'm just saying it's not as sought after as the Gel-Kayano 14s or the Gel-1130s. You know, I see these on shelves as well, but not a ton of people are wearing a pair of GT-2160s. I think a lot of people are often bigger fans of these other two. That doesn't mean that this sneaker is not great itself. Now, the GT-2160s did release in 2011. However, along with the Gel-1130s and the Gel-Kayano 14s, they also made a huge comeback in 2020 as well. In my hand right here is the Kith Marvel collab in their Spider-Man colorway. So this is inspired by the color scheme of Spider-Man. I love that it is a Marvel inspired shoe. It's very, very nice. So like I said before, GT-2160s are pretty easy to find on the market. You can pretty much go into any Foot Locker and be able to find them on the shelves. They're not gonna fly off like the other ASICS Gel sneakers that I talked about. I think looking at collaborations of the GT-2160s is pretty cool. Yeah, they have a lot of collabs with higher end brands, but they also have collabs with Marvel and Bleach. So that's like pop culture. And I think that's pretty cool at the end of the day as well. It kind of appeals to the masses. Now, the GT-2160s do retail for a price between $120 to $130. So they're not as cheap as the Gel-1130s, but they're not as expensive as the Gel-Kayano 14s. I would say that they're kind of in the middle. And when it comes to brotherhood, I honestly think of the Gel-Kayano 14s being the oldest, the Gel-1130s being the youngest, and the GT-2160s being the middle child. You know, when it comes to the middle child, they're often deprived, they're ignored, they're neglected, right? And not a lot of people like the GT-2160s. But still, if you guys have not tried out the GT-2160s, you are missing out. Now, I would say the best thing about this particular silhouette is that it has a lot of support and stability when it comes to wearing the shoe. The shoe does come with some gel technology in the midsole and the back right here. But when I'm wearing this shoe, it feels very firm. It doesn't feel super squishy. It doesn't feel super soft. But I do feel like I am stable in the ground. So if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of stability when you're walking, or your feet might not be flat on the floor, I would say wearing this sneaker would be great for you. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say on the GT-2160s. Let's move on to our last and final sneaker. All right, and the last of the big four is my most recent ASICS pickup, and that is the ASICS Gel-NYCs. Now, the ASICS Gel-NYCs are the newest when it comes to all the silhouettes. This was actually inspired by the rest of the three, and they made them in 2023 after the hype of just all the other shoes were doing so well. They decided to make a new one, specifically inspired by New York City and made for the world. Now, the ASICS Gel-NYCs are very comfortable like the rest of the ASICS lifestyle sneakers. However, out of the four, I would say they are the most wide foot friendly. Unlike the Gel-Kayano 14s, this silhouette wasn't as slim or narrow. It does have a very wide toe box, but it's nothing where it's too chunky or too overbearing at the end of the day. As you guys can see in the silhouette of the sneaker, there are two placements for the gel technology. So we have some on the forefoot and some on the heel area. The gel technology is very squishy. Like with the rest of the other sneakers, the gel technology is also very squishy. But given that there is gel technology both in the front and the back, makes for a very comfortable sneaker overall. It's not just in the heel area, but we also have it in the front as well. I think one thing I love about my specific colorway about the Gel-NYCs is how easy I'm able to pull them off. They're just a gray sneaker and they're very easy. I often find myself just like putting them on with like a random outfit and they'll just look good. So I would say if you're a pretty big guy or you have pretty wide feet, the Gel-NYCs are a pretty good sneaker for you. There's a lot of support and there's a lot of room for your feet to kind of squeeze into. You don't have to feel like your feet are being suffocated or that it's too tight. The Gel-NYCs is probably your shoe to go. Now, I would say the Gel-NYC also has a pretty unique silhouette as well. As you guys see in the aesthetic, there's a lot of cushioning in the back, which kind of gives it this very rugged and chunky look. Now, the ASICS Gel-NYCs retail for a price between $130 to $140, depending on the quality of the material that you're buying. Some are more expensive than others, but my only problem about the Gel-NYCs is how little colorways they come in. So again, because they are a newer sneaker, there's not gonna be a ton of colorways out there. And when I was looking for a color that I would want to buy for the Gel-NYCs, I wanted to buy a color that was pretty special and unique, but I could not find anything crazy out there. But at the end of the day, there were just so many colorways out there that were just very plain, such as your white, creams, and grays. I have plenty of those, and I just thought, okay, if I'm not gonna find a crazy colorway, might as well find one that I can wear with a lot of stuff. So I just went with this gray color, and it's not terrible, but it's not my favorite sneaker in my collection. So I would say in terms of availability and variety, this would probably take the number 4 spot at the bottom. There's just not a ton that you can find. Even if you find a really nice colorway on StockX, chances are that that colorway never released to the public. But if I am basing this on comfort wise, I would have to say it does take either the number 1 or 2 spot out of the 4. So now it is time to decide which one I think is the best in 2026 to rock. I've gone over different characteristics of each of these sneakers. I've talked about how all of them are really nice, very comfortable, very trendy for the times, but we got to have some kind of process of elimination. So I guess that's what we're gonna do. We are going to narrow it down to 3 and then 2, and then finally the one left standing will be the best sneaker that I think for 2026. So the first sneaker that I'm going to eliminate out of the 4 has to be, drum roll please, I gotta take the ASICS GT-2160s out. Now again, this is a really comfortable sneaker. I do enjoy wearing it. I love the collaboration between Marvel and Kith. These are 2 of my favorite brands of all time. I love Spider-Man, but again, the 2160s are just not that popular and they're not that sought after. And honestly, the reason being why is because they are that middle child of the ASICS lifestyle sneakers. Now, this sneaker often finds itself in the middle between 2 silhouettes. So if you want to go for a cheap sneaker that is very comfortable, you're obviously going to go for the Gel-1130s. But if you want to find a sneaker that is more comfortable and that is more trendy in in today's fashion. You're gonna go for the Gel-Kayano 14s. So you're never really gonna find yourself lying in the middle. The GT-2160s are just not there in terms of hype and popularity. But again, if you're someone that has trouble walking, that is recovering from some sort of injury, I would say the 2160s are the best bet for you. Unfortunately, these are the bottom of the 4, so we're gonna take this one out. Now, out of the 3, the next one that I would take out would be, we gotta go with the Gel-NYCs. Now, I know the Gel-NYCs are a great sneaker. They're very comfortable. I even said that they're one of the most comfortable sneakers out of the 4. I think that they're more comfortable than the Gel-1130s. However, what really got me was their lack of colorways out there. Because they are a newish sneaker, I don't think that they're as popular because there's just not a ton of collaborations out there. There's not a ton of nice, unique colorways where people can rock. And also, yes, they are a wide foot friendly sneaker, but I don't think that that appeals to the masses. I don't think that everyone is wide footed, and a lot of people like slimmer silhouettes. So for that reason, I would not recommend the Gel-NYCs over the other 2. I would recommend it, let's say, if you were to purchase a third ASICS sneaker, but just not the best ASICS sneaker of 2026. It's sad to say, but again, if you are looking for a very comfortable pair of ASICS gel sneakers and you don't want to go for something too hype, I would say the Gel-NYCs are probably your next best bet. And finally, right here, we have the winner and the runner-up, the best 2 standing, but we can only pick one. Now, honestly, this one is tough. I don't really know if I can give a solid answer. I'm gonna give my personal opinion, but I'm gonna talk about why you can go with either of these choices in 2026. The last sneaker that I would be taking out, away from the best ASICS sneaker of 2026, I gotta go with... honestly, I'm still deciding on the spot. I can't really think of one. I gotta go with... I gotta take out the Gel-1130s. It pains me to take this away, and I really wanted to say that this was the best ASICS sneaker to have in 2026. But at the end of the day, I still gotta go true to the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14. Even in my last video, I talked about the ASICS Gel-Kayano 14 being the best sneaker to have in the game. So first off, let me talk about the reasons why I wouldn't pick the Gel-1130s over the Gel-Kayano 14s, and then I'll talk about why this is the best sneaker of 2026. So when it comes to the Gel-1130s, I know that they're very affordable, they're very light, they're very comfortable, but I would say if you're looking for the best sneaker out there when it comes to an ASICS lifestyle sneaker, you gotta go for the best thing. And sometimes the best thing requires you to have the most technology, the most innovation, and everything kind of put into one sneaker. So that's why the Gel-Kayano 14s is honestly the most expensive one. You're getting everything that the other 3 sneakers have in one shoe. You know, the last video that I made where I compared the Gel-Kayano 14s to the Gel-1130s and the GT-2160s, I still said that the Gel-Kayano 14s was my #1 recommendation. I think not only are they the most comfortable of the 4, but they're the ones that brought ASICS back from the dead. Now, the only exception that I would make where I would actually rank the Gel-1130s over the Gel-Kayano 14s is that if you are someone that doesn't have a lot of money to start out with, you're still in school, you're not making any money, I would say the Gel-1130s is still your best bet. This is your best sneaker to have in 2026. Like I said before, in Foot Locker, Finish Line, StockX, this is their best seller. You look on any single website and this is gonna be the first sneaker that pops up, and this is because it's so cheap and the masses just love to purchase this. So I would say if you're trying to go for the best thing out there, the Gel-Kayano 14s, but if you don't have a ton of money, you're not really selling yourself short with the Gel-1130s. If anything, you're saving yourself a lot of money, but you're also getting a great amount of comfort as well. So in short, my overall ranking would be at #4, the GT-2160s. Then I would say at #3, the Gel-NYCs. At #2 would be the Gel-1130s. And then lastly, we have the Gel-Kayano 14s at our #1 spot. In 2026, this is the best ASICS sneaker to own. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got for today's video. Again, keep in mind this was all entirely in my opinion. My opinion is not the right opinion, it's just what I feel. So if you guys disagree with me, let me know in the comments down below. If you guys think that there are any of these sneakers that you think are the best out of the 4, again, let me know in the comments down below because I do want to hear from you. And as always, if you guys liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys want to hear more from me, smash the subscribe button because more will be on the way. Again, we talked about which one is the best of the big 4 of ASICS lifestyle sneakers. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.